Late one cold evening, 13-year-old Malik wandered the streets with his thin jacket pressed tightly to his chest. He had been homeless for months, surviving on leftover food and the kindness of strangers. Most nights he slept under an abandoned bus stop, listening to the sounds of cars rushing by. But this night felt different. As he walked past an alley behind a closed grocery store, he heard a faint groan. At first, he thought it was just a stray animal. But when he stepped closer, he saw an older woman lying on the ground, her breathing shallow, her face pale, and her hand weakly reaching for help. Malik froze for a moment, unsure what to do. He had no phone, no money, no adult to call. But something inside him pushed him forward, and he knelt beside her, whispering softly, trying to keep her conscious. He didn't know who she was, only that someone needed him, and for the first time in months, he felt a sense of purpose sparking inside him. 2. The woman, whose name was Evelyn, tried to speak but could barely form words. Malik quickly realized she was slipping in and out of awareness. He remembered the fire station a few blocks away and made a desperate decision. He helped her sit up slightly, then sprinted barefoot toward the station as fast as he could, ignoring the pain from the freezing pavement. Bursting through the doors, he cried for help, explaining between gasps that a woman was dying in the alley. The firefighters didn't hesitate. They followed him immediately, and within minutes Evelyn was receiving oxygen and being lifted into an ambulance. Malik stood on the curb, shaking from cold and fear, watching as they drove away. The firefighters asked if he wanted to come to the hospital, but he refused. He didn't want to answer questions about where he lived. Instead, he walked back to the bus stop, wondering if the woman would survive, not knowing that his life had just changed forever. 3. At the hospital, doctors confirmed what Malik had sensed. Evelyn had suffered a severe heart episode, and if she had been found even 10 minutes later, she would have died. When she regained consciousness, she asked repeatedly about the boy who rescued her. The firefighters told her he refused to identify himself but described him as a small, quiet kid with kind eyes. Evelyn felt a deep sense of gratitude. She had no children, no close siblings, and had lived alone for years despite being one of the wealthiest women in the city. She wondered what would make a child roam the streets alone at night. Over the next few days, she insisted that the fire crew search for him. Flyers were printed, phone calls were made, but no one seemed to know the boy's name. To Evelyn, it wasn't enough to simply be grateful. She felt she owed him something more than words or a thank you card. 4. Meanwhile, Malik continued living his quiet, hidden life. He had grown used to invisibility. Before his mother died, she always told him, "Don't ever let the world make you believe you're nothing," but since losing her, those words felt like a fading echo. Still, he tried to stay hopeful. One afternoon, after searching garbage bins behind a cafe, he walked past a notice board and spotted a flyer with a hand-drawn sketch that looked eerily like him. Underneath it read, "Looking for the boy who saved my life, please come forward." He froze, reading it over and over, scared at first but then curious. Who was this woman? Why was she looking for him? After hours of pacing and thinking, he decided to take a risk. He approached the fire station again, holding the flyer in shaking hands, and quietly said, "I think this is about me." The firefighters immediately contacted Evelyn, and she requested he be brought to the hospital at once. 5. When Malik entered the hospital room, he felt nervous and out of place. He stood by the door, unsure if he should speak. Evelyn smiled gently, motioning him closer. "You saved my life," she whispered, tears forming in her eyes. Malik shrugged shyly. "I just didn't want you to die." Evelyn asked him about his family, his home, his school. His silence said more than words could. After a long pause, Malik admitted he had been living on the streets since his mother passed away. Evelyn felt her heart tighten. No child should have to carry that burden. She asked if she could help him, but he immediately shook his head. He didn't trust promises. Too many adults had walked away from him. But Evelyn did not walk away. She visited him daily, learned his favorite foods, asked about his dreams, and slowly earned his trust. Malik didn't know why she cared so much, but her kindness felt like sunlight warming a place inside him he thought had died. 6. Evelyn was discharged 2 weeks later, and before leaving, she requested a meeting with the city's family services department. She wanted to become Malik's legal guardian. The officers were hesitant at first. Wealthy individuals requesting custody of homeless children was unusual, but not impossible. Malik was scared. He had been bounced around too many temporary shelters to believe this would last. But during the meeting, Evelyn held his hand tightly and told him, "You gave me my life. Let me give you yours back." Her words broke the last wall Malik had built around himself. He nodded slowly, finally letting hope in. After a thorough investigation, background checks, and interviews, the court approved her request. Malik was officially placed in Evelyn's care. For the first time in years, he had a bed, clean clothes, warm meals, and a home. It all felt unreal, like a dream he feared waking from. 7. As months passed, Malik transformed. He enrolled in school, made friends, and discovered he loved science. Evelyn encouraged every interest he showed. She bought him books, took him to museums, and even signed him up for robotics classes. She watched him grow from a frightened, quiet boy into a confident young teenager. But what shocked Malik the most was not the material comfort, it was the love. Evelyn treated him like her own grandson. She cooked his favorite meals, listened to his stories, and tucked him in at night when he had nightmares. He had never known a life where someone cared so deeply. Some nights he still cried quietly, overwhelmed by gratitude and fear that he might lose everything again. But Evelyn always reassured him, "You're safe now. You're home." 8. One morning, Evelyn invited Malik to her lawyer's office. He thought it was something boring about school paperwork. Instead, she handed him an envelope and said, "I want you to know something important." Inside was a document naming him the heir to her estate. Malik stared in disbelief. He knew she was wealthy, but he had never imagined this. He tried to refuse, shaking his head desperately, saying he didn't want her money. Evelyn stopped him with a gentle touch. "This isn't about money. It's about family. You saved me without knowing who I was. I want to make sure you're protected long after I'm gone." Tears streamed down Malik's face. No one had ever chosen him before. The woman he had once found dying in an alley was now giving him a future he never dreamed possible. 9. Years passed, and Malik flourished. He graduated with honors, earned a college scholarship, and began studying biomedical engineering. Evelyn attended every milestone, cheering louder than anyone else. Their bond remained unbreakable. Malik often reflected on the night he found her. If he had walked past the alley without looking back, everything would be different. He learned that kindness, even in small moments, can change the entire trajectory of a life. He also realized Evelyn needed him just as much as he needed her. Two broken souls found each other in the darkest moment, and rebuilt each other's lives with love and compassion. 10. When Evelyn eventually passed away peacefully at age 94, Malik inherited her entire estate. But more importantly, he inherited her values. He established a foundation in her name to support homeless children, determined to give others the same second chance she gave him. The world celebrated him as a philanthropist, a visionary, a leader. But whenever asked what inspired his mission, he always gave the same answer. "A stranger showed me love when I had nothing. I just want to pass it on." And thus, the story of a homeless boy who saved a dying woman turned into a legacy of hope. A reminder that sometimes the smallest act of compassion can create a ripple that changes countless lives forever.